Yeah. First and foremost, I believe that we left a lot of points out there on the field, and I take sole responsibility for that. But we played complementary football. All three phases were great. Obviously, George Pettaway with a huge kick return, Ymir with multiple 10-plus punt returns. It made our field shorter, and it really made my job easier and the rest of the offense. Everybody fought, everybody was resilient, and Coach Chesney challenged the whole team, and I believe we stepped up to the plate.
It was obviously a short week, so a little less rest, a little less fresh. Your touchdown run kind of exemplified, though, how tough guys ran tonight. Was that a focus to bring some physicality, even though you were on short rest?
Yeah. Obviously, that play I think is just my mentality is I'll do whatever I need, for this team to win. The most important stat, in my opinion, is what's in that win column. And obviously, we're 1-0 for this week. We have the most important game of the year next week against Georgia Southern because it's the next one. So that's just a shout out to all the guys.
Can you talk about how much it helped to come back home and have a crowd this electric? What'd that do for you guys?
Yeah, that was cool. That whiteout was cool. Obviously we have the best fans in the Sun Belt easily, and some of the top fans in the country. So any time you have that home field advantage, it gives us some extra energy and boost.
After last week, when some of the contested catches didn't really go, what gave you the confidence to zip that ball into Taylor Thompson or other throws that in tight windows to keep going, trusting your guys?
Those guys never lose confidence in me. Obviously, fumbled last week. That was a huge one. Fumbled again this week. And, those guys really continue to pick me up, continue to build me, told me they believed in me, they trusted me. And, why not reciprocate the same energy to them? And those guys work hard, very hard. And obviously that was disappointing last week for all of us. But just the continued confidence we have in each other will take us a long way.
What was going through your head after the fumble, and how'd you bounce back after?
That was frustrating, knowing that we were driving at will. I knew that one would have ended in 6. But, when you have a defense like we do, you can kind of wipe that easily from your memory because, those guys are going to hold them and go 3-0 and you get the chance again.
Against Ball State, you connected with 8 different receivers, and then tonight it was one more. It was 9. How are you seeing this receiving group come together at this point?
I've said this before. I sound like a broken record, but everybody's really a Swiss Army knife. Coach Kennedy, the system. Obviously, you see we're doing a lot of subbing, a lot of rotation, and it wasn't just the front 5. It was receivers, running backs. That anytime you have people that can come in and do their job at a high level, it makes my job easy.
And you guys had a bit of a trick play. I think you handed it off, and then it was pitched to someone else, and then pitched back to you, and then you found Taylor Thompson down the field. What's it like kind of running those plays and having an offensive coordinator that's comfortable to call them?
Yeah, obviously that's fun. We had another one called, but they brought some pressure to the field. I threw it away. But anytime you have that, we're just having fun out there on the field. We find any type of way that we can to exploit the defense, and if it's through a trick play, run or whatever, we'll get it done.
Coach Chesney really has sort of implemented this culture of self-reflection, focusing on you guys. How much does that really help, you as a player, and then just kind of the offense as a unit, especially, after kind of tough games like ULM?
Whenever you have that, accountability aspect of it, it really makes it easier to bounce back because, you focus on what you can do and obviously do your 1/11th, and what if you fix it, it'll help the team go. So just having that, accountability aspect of it is nice.
Is there something a little bit extra rewarding about this game coming off of such a recent loss?
Yeah, it's nice, obviously, to, be undefeated at home. We take pride in that and defending our house. But, last week is last week. We had to wipe that quick. And I know that this team, we're going to do special things.
I know you mentioned you felt like you left some points out on the table in this game, but to still be able to put up 39 and get a quality win against a conference opponent, how big is that to know that you guys can be able to do that and there's still plenty of room to grow on?
Yeah, obviously, even if we did put up 50-plus points, there's still room for improvement. But just knowing that and, having the confidence that it's easy fixes and stuff that we will get done, in tune for next week in the future, obviously it builds confidence in everybody, especially when you have a defense that holds them to 7 points.
I'm not even sure if you've had the chance to see this yet, but you got a little bit of a shout-out tonight from Jordan McLeod on Twitter. What's it like having to know that even now that he's moved on to a different school, that he's still following along and giving you that support?
Yeah, that's my dog. That's my guy. And, we still kept in contact throughout the offseason. When NCAA 25 dropped, me and him played against each other. And, we still been texting, FaceTiming throughout the season. So, to have somebody like that in your corner is special. and I don't take it for granted at all.
I'm just kind of curious here. Have you ever played as Jordan in NCAA?
Yeah. Sometimes I'll do like random teams. I'll play against GP, and some of those guys on the team will do like Sun Belt, ACC, or whatever. So I played as Jordan too.
Coach talked about a couple weeks ago that he seemed like you guys weren't having as much fun on the sidelines. When you play in a game like this where it seems like a lot of things are working, how much fun are you having out there?
A point of emphasis is energy, especially on kickoff, whether we're up or whether we're down. Those guys, that's a selfless unit. And, that just shows our unison, our team cohesion, our camaraderie out there on the field. So, whether things are going your way or whether they're not going your way, you see that not only in the game of football but in life. So you can't hang your head, you can't lift your chin up too high, on victories, failures. So, just keep pushing along.
When George is running the ball away, he did tonight.
Yeah.
What does that add to your offense?
Yeah, that obviously adds another aspect because the second and third level, they have to respect that. And now when we go hard play action, they're like, okay, run. And there's, pass. And, we have guys like Cam, OD, Taylor, just to name a few that are explosive playmakers.
And without giving away any of the secrets, what are some of the skills that make George unique at the running back?
I mean, obviously his vision, he's a tough running back. Y'all might consider him a scat back, but, he'll lower his shoulder, if he has to, and he'll get the job done. So, he's a special player.
A few weeks ago, we kind of got an introduction to Jaden Mines and that when he picked up the block punt and returned it. What was it like tonight to get him that long run?
That's great. That's somebody who he's been very selfless. He's fought through a lot, injury, setbacks and things of that nature. He's been primarily used on special teams, but that's a guy that, he doesn't complain. He doesn't cry about it. He just does his job. He does it all out. So to see him, kind of get a glimpse of that, I think he'll have a lot of great things in his future. So I'm happy for him.
You just mentioned a guy like Jaden who's been here. There's been a lot of guys that were on this team last year who didn't play that much, and you're kind of leading that group who are making an impact this year. What does it mean to have those guys get involved and all play a part?
I mean, that's just a testament to their resilience. Not only their resilience, but Coach Chesney and his staff, coming in and really, putting their mark and saying, hey, we believe in you. Last year was last year. That doesn't matter. We're here now. Continue to be you. And those guys, they've put in the work in all season. And, Coach Chesney, he says it a lot. When the light shines on you, you'll either be exposed or you'll be revealed. So, those guys are really being revealed right now.
Just talk about that interception and being able to get it back into the end zone.
Still so surreal for me right now. I don't know, just seeing the ball in the air and took it to the crib. It was a great feeling, great win with the guys.
It's been sort of like a long time coming for you to make a play like that in your college career. Like, in the grand scheme of things, what does that do for your confidence to make a play like that?
Definitely just boosted a little more, but knowing that it's still more work to do, always room to get better, always room to fill in error. So, just got to keep building on something.
I don't know if you know, but you guys lead the nation in turnovers right now. What about Coach Hemphill? What has he installed into y'all's mindset for y'all to make those plays?
Next play mentality, go out there and play for all 4 quarters and, just give it all. And I feel like with the short week that we had, we kind of adjusted to everything we needed to adjust to and brought it together. The week was so short for us, and we just made it happen.
Lloyd, along those lines, you're coming off a loss. People always talk about not letting a team beat you twice. How did you guys put ULM behind you and kind of refocus for today?
We knew that wasn't our best at first anyway, so knowing that we playing at home crowd, great environment, it was good to just come out here and, play the game that we know we can play.
And if you're willing to share, I know you're a Florida guy. What's this week been like with the hurricanes? How's your family, all that kind of thing?
I talked to my mom yesterday, and she said it was just a lot of flooding and stuff going on, but they're all right. I haven't talked to her recently after the game or nothing, so just waiting to hear from her. I don't know if she saw the pick 6 or not, but I know she'll be happy as soon as she see it.
What was it like to manage kind of those emotions and not knowing exactly what's happening back home? For a game?
That was kind of one of my biggest kind of thoughts going through my head, like, dang, did my mom see that? Or, because I don't have anyone here. They can't travel up to the games every week, or they haven't came at all. So, just knowing that they watching and stuff, that kind of gives me a little more encouragement.
Coach Chesney has given, a lot of guys chances who maybe, in previous years maybe not have gotten a chance to shine. How much motivation does that add to you as a player to just know that, you have so many more opportunities to have moments like the ones you had today?
Man, it's amazing feeling knowing that you can go out to practice each and every day and still try to improve your game throughout the week. Knowing that, I started off kind of slow anyway, but knowing that, just stand down and trust in the process, something is bound to happen good in your way. So, that was good confidence for me.
I don't know if you heard Dan Mullen was calling this game for ESPN, so that photo from your recruiting visit is kind of making the rounds again. Like, is that a fun thing for you, kind of a side note?
Yeah, that was a special moment. I didn't know until literally probably the end of the game for real, but it was amazing. Dan Mullen, probably one of my favorite coaches ever, to be coached by. So that was just a good spotlight, good highlight for us, a good moment for us. And I appreciate Coach Dan Mullen.
2 weeks ago, it was Eric O'Neal on the defensive line who got that pick six, and then tonight it's you. What has allowed you guys up front to be so successful in getting those balls down?
I feel like we encourage each other, to the fullest. When someone is down, we bring them up, we lift them up. I haven't been playing the best, stat-wise or anything like that, so they just know, just it's coming, and knowing that it's coming and you will see greater days. I feel like that's the beauty in it all, and we just got to keep building on what we got right now. It's pretty special.
All offseason, when we were at practice, I always saw you get your hands in the batting lanes and batting balls away. How much do you describe that's your style of game? How much pride do you take in doing that?
I try to use my length a lot. I'm a lot longer than a lot of guys, so I feel like getting my hands up and doing stuff like that kind of deflect the ball. That kind of can be a way to get us off the field early or however I need to do it. But, just trying to use my length the best way I can.
When a team loses a game, a disappointing game like you guys did last weekend, what's the key to refocusing and bouncing back? Obviously, you guys were successful with that today.
Yeah, we have the same mindset whether we win or lose. It doesn't matter, get better. Got to move on to the next week. And, I think it's even easier when it's a shorter week because you don't have time to think about that last game. You got to move pretty quickly to this one. But, really proud of the way, all of us in that locker room battled this week and, took it extremely seriously. How important it was to practice hard, even though it was a short week. Our bodies might not have felt the best, but, really proud of just, getting right back to work on Sunday and moving this thing forward.
This offense that you faced today is pretty high-powered. You mentioned it's a short week to get ready for all the different things they do. What was that challenge like and what worked so well today?
Yeah, it was very challenging. You got to cram a lot of film in to a very short period of time. And, our coaches pulled all-nighters basically to get our defense prepared for this game. So, really, the commitment from our coaches and their ability, knowledge-wise to have us ready schematically for this game, huge shout-out to them. We don't do that without, the guys that, work down these halls. What you saw on that field today was, the 11 guys in the field executing at a high level, but within the framework of our defense that, these guys work so hard every single day, pulling all-nighters this week to get us ready. So, really, thankful to play for those men every single day.
You guys held them to a season low in rushing yards today. Can you just talk about the defense's ability to plug those holes so quickly?
Yeah, I think you had everybody playing within the framework of the defense, doing their 1/11th to the best of their ability. And then the D-line, I thought, just dominated the game. You talk about the guys inside, like Bush, big Chris Fitzgerald, Michael McMullen, Darrell, they wrecked the game. What they were doing to the interior offensive line, they were getting pushed back. They weren't getting moved at all. When you can win up front like that and dominate the line of scrimmage the way those guys did, even at defensive end, the way, Eric, Lloyd, Amar, and Kyrie all set the edge. You're not giving the offense much to breathe. So, that's, really proud of those guys up front for how they played.
Ethan Vasco isn't a quarterback that's taken a lot of sacks this year, but you guys were getting a lot of guys on him quickly. How noticeable was that to you guys early in the game?
Yeah, we felt like we had a pretty good, idea of what we wanted to do pressure-wise. Towards the, the end of the game, when it got going, they were doing some different things on third down than they'd shown, throughout the year. So, we kind of just sat back a little bit, didn't rush, and the guys up front were just, winning their one-on-one matchup, which is, what I talked about earlier this week. We didn't win our 1-1 matchup last week against ULM, and this week I say we probably won 95% of them. So that was a big deal.
You mentioned the third downs there. In the first quarter, they were 2 of 3 on third downs, and from there, they were 1 of 11. What was allowing you guys to kind of settle into that and get them off the field?
Yeah, I think we kind of understood what they were doing on third down. I mean, they get out there and, they're completely breaking tendency on what we thought they were going to do. And, with some of the stuff they were doing, we figured it out, and then you go to the sideline, you make adjustments, and then, we also settled in too. So we got everybody on the same page. We kind of figured out what their idea was against us, and then, credit our coaches. They always put us in the right spot, and then we had guys make plays.
I remember one of the last times after we spoke to you after a game, after Gardner-Webb, you mentioned that maybe some of the players of the team weren't playing to the standard of JMU, and that'll be fixed. And kind of fast forward to tonight, just overall, what kind of growth have you seen from this team, and maybe how big of a testament tonight's win really is to showcase that?
Yeah, I mean, I just think that the maturity level of our team is at an all-time high because, you watch the way guys come off the plane at 3:30 in the morning from a long trip. You could feel sorry for yourself. You could be thinking about the last loss. But instead, we had guys who came in, got right to work, owned everything that was wrong on film last game, and said, we are going to dominate this week. It doesn't matter how we feel. It doesn't matter how much sleep we get. We are going to dominate every single day of practice this week. And we had guys that were excited to get better and excited to move on from the game. And I think that, if you can handle it after a loss like that on that short of a week, we should be able to, parlay that into everything else we're doing. So, really excited to enjoy this one for a little bit longer, but, we got a really good Georgia Southern team next week that, we're going to need to prepare for a lot.
In a game like this, when you have a short week and you're winning by so much, how nice is it to get the reps for all the other players who might be needed in more important situations down the line?
Yeah, I think it's great. It's also great too, when you're playing on national TV and you play at the level we played at today, and you get guys who give you everything they have every single day in practice, who might not be able to get on the field, but then they do get on the field because of the way the game went. So, I'm just so happy that, we got to get a lot of guys in there today, a lot of guys who've earned the right to play. I mean, we have a very talented team. It's hard. It's competition at every position group to play, but having the opportunity to get some of those guys in there on national TV, I mean, they earn it every single day, and their commitment to this program is unwavering. And I'm just so happy that they got their moment today.
We've talked a lot about Coach Chesney really does have that philosophy of giving guys chances. Has that always sort of been his mindset, even in the years that you've known him?
Yeah, I mean, he's the same guy, that he's been for the last 6 years. He hasn't changed, and I think that's great too, because there's never anything set in stone. Guys have the opportunity to continue to earn more or earn less based on how they practice. I mean, we take practice as serious, if not more seriously, than the game. So if you don't perform to a high standard in practice, you're not going to get your opportunity. But if you play, really at a really high level during practice, you're going to get your shot at some point in the game. And I think the more depth we can continue to develop, we got a lot of guys who can play at a really high level, and I think it's doing a pretty good job of keeping us fresh. So got to keep moving forward with that.
Curious, you're from the same area as Ethan Vasco. I was wondering if you played against him before, or do you have any things to give to the defense that you knew about him at all from high school?
Nah, I've trained with him a couple times. We played 7-on-7 a little bit too, but he was in public school. I was in private school, so I never got to play against him. But he's a hell of a player for sure.
And what does it mean for the offensive line to suffer some injuries, but to have a day like that you guys had in the running game? I think it was
guys are locked in. Next man up mentality, but as a whole, 10 deep, they can really go and get the job done. Great communication all day from the offensive line. Calling out who they're going to block, just letting us know they got our back, and us backs got to make them right.
And in the first 2 drives, you get 5 touches total. What does it mean to kind of get a head start and get those a lot of touches initially? Does it give you confidence for the rest of the game? Definitely,
you're getting me in a flow, getting the ball early and often, being able to make plays later in the game when you really need them. I'm locked in.
Coming off of a game like last weekend where you guys lose and you come home, how much of a momentum swing does that opening kick return give you guys?
Definitely. I wanted to take it to the crib. Obviously, that didn't happen, but just start off hot in a good spot, and like I said, getting a touch early and often gets me in the flow of the game.
And then you obviously had that kick return, and then on punts, Ymir did a really good job seeing the field and having some long returns. Was that something you guys were seeing on film out of this group that you could maybe get some yards off of?
Nah, definitely. We knew from a kickoff return perspective, our defense is playing lights out. So we're not going to get a lot of kickoff returns, but definitely forcing a lot of punt returns. Talking to Ymir really all week, he said he was going to get a lot of yards, and they didn't really do a good job of covering, but a lot of hang time for him to kind of make decisions and be decisive, and he did that.
Alonza, he's finished the day with 199 yards, 3 touchdowns, but one of the first things he says when he comes up to media is, we left a lot of points out there. What's it like to kind of have a leader like that on the offense that's, constantly looking for ways to improve and constantly looking for ways for the unit to better itself?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we did a good job tonight, but I feel like as a group, like we're never satisfied. It's possessions where we had penalties, possessions where we dropped the ball, and, we want to be an elite team, and we want to maximize all of our drives, all the touches that we get. And so, our leader, Alonza Barnett, he does a great job of just staying level-headed, staying in the moment, understanding like we're doing a good job, but we're never satisfied as a group.
Do you think, tonight kind of gave you guys a little bit of a confidence boost now that you have that first win in conference play?
Definitely. Quick turnaround from ULM. Obviously, we left one out there, and then to beat Coastal, a couple of days off, we're definitely feeling good. Guys can recover, get off their feet, and, feel good for our next opponent.
You mentioned the quick turnaround from the loss. How did you guys mentally handle that? Because sometimes you can let a team beat you twice, kind of.
Definitely.
It lingers. How did you guys approach it?
We really just forgot about it, honestly. Like Dobbs was talking about it. We got home at 3:30 a.m. I watched the film on the whole way back from the plane. A lot of mistakes, a lot of yards left out there, a lot of plays that we wish we had back, all of us as a team. And so definitely coming in that next day and watching the film and getting it out the way. Those next 2-3 practices that we had going into this game was really we were just locked in as a group. Different schedule, but just locked in. We really didn't care about ULM anymore. We just wanted to beat Coastal.
And you guys, as backs, receivers, even your quarterback, you broke a lot of tackles.
Mm-hmm.
You ran real physically. Did you notice in practice a difference? Coach said he tried to limit the workload to not wear you out. Did you notice a difference as you were preparing for this?
Definitely. Guys were fresh. I feel like it was a very, very physical game at ULM, so obviously we needed that rest, but kind of changing our mindset a little bit, mentality-wise, fighting for those extra yards, being physical on pass pro and stuff like that to, maximize our drives, maximize our plays, and I feel like we did a good job of that today. Obviously never satisfied.
In the running back room, you obviously led it today, but then Wayne had a 23-yard rush. Jaden had a 24-yard rush. How are you seeing this group come together as the season progresses?
Guys are locked in, staying ready, being ready in the moment. You never know, when you're going to get that touch and when it's going to happen. And so you're just reading your keys. We watch a lot of film as a group. We got tests before the game. I'm talking to those guys on the bench, making sure that they're dialed in. They're helping me on my runs. I'm helping them on theirs. So I feel like it just goes hand in hand. We all trying to help each other. And so when that moment does come where we can break one, we can really break one. But just staying locked in the whole game.
And obviously it's a position where you can get hit a lot, but when you have so many running backs that are capable of taking some chunk plays, have you noticed that kind of help you guys out a little bit?
Definitely. Guys are staying fresh. Obviously, we don't have 7 Ayo. Definitely miss him. But guys are just, staying ready. And, Sims does a good job of really rotating us and getting us to our spots and letting us do what we do. So